Hey folks, we're going to get into data frames here. Now this is going to be one of the most common ways we're going to work with data. So we're going to spend a bit more time on this one than we kind of blitzed through the other ones here because we definitely want to practice with these. So what's cool about data frames is that we can store different types of data like we could with a list, but the data frame is going to make sure that each column has the same type of data here. So as we look at this idea of putting together columns that have the same type of data, and then each row is an instance or one set of each of those types of data from the column. So in this one, you've got 1 R and true, you have 2 S and false, 3 T and true. So we've got numeric types, we've got character types, and we've got logical types. So we create them with the data.frame, and then you give it named lists, or I'm sorry, named vectors. So you give it a vector of values and you give it a name here, and those names automatically become our column headers, which is super cool. So if I come into my R project here and we wanted to make my, say like, this is my sandwich menu for the week. So we'll say, hey, this is my menu, and we're going to assign to it a data.frame. And then the first value is going to be the day. So I just say day equals, and I'm going to give it a vector of, we'll have Monday, and then we'll have Tuesday, and we'll have Wednesday, on and on and on. I'll type all these out here, sorry. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Right, so there's my first vector for day. Then that's going to be one column. Right, so then the next column that I want to have here is the sandwich type. So maybe we'll do different types of sandwiches depending on the day. So we'll have sandwich. Sandwich is going to equal here another vector, and then we'll have, so for Monday we're going to do PB&J, and then on Tuesday we'll have how about here we do ham and cheese, and maybe on Wednesday we do grilled cheese. Cheese is a big hit around this house here, so everybody likes cheese. So do grilled cheese, and then maybe we'll go to tuna salad sandwiches, and then maybe we do an egg salad sandwich. Or is that just tuna fish? Tuna salad? Tuna egg, whatever it is here. Egg salad. And then maybe on Saturday, if we want a different kind of sandwich, maybe we mix it up here. I don't usually do sandwiches on the weekend here. So maybe I just say no sandwich or something. I'm not really sure. So or other, something like that. And then on Sunday, again, we usually do something else, or maybe we'll call this one leftovers here. So I've got two columns now. That first column with my vector of values is for the day of the week. The next value is my sandwich column for type of sandwich. And then my third column here that I want to add is, I don't know what, kids eating, or I don't know, something like my kids eating sandwiches. Sure, we can do that here. We'll say that one equals now another vector. And so on Monday, we've got, let's see, so Joey's going to have a sandwich, Jeb's going to have a sandwich, Vivi's going to have a sandwich, Journey's going to have a sandwich, Jubilee's going to have a sandwich, Jack doesn't really like sandwiches, and Jasper's too little. So 5. We'll have 5 sandwiches on Monday. On Tuesday, when Jeb's not here, we'll probably have 4 sandwiches, and go back to 5 on Wednesday. And on Thursday, when the girls aren't around, we'll just do, when Vivi, Journey, and Jubilee aren't there, we'll do 2 sandwiches. And then we'll go back to 5 on Friday, and then really like 0 and leftovers are 0 probably here. So we build out my data frame. So I have 3 columns, right? I have a string or a character column for my day of the week. I have a character column for the sandwich type, and I have a numeric column for my number of kids eating sandwiches here. We can save that all out as a data frame. So we have this 7 obs of 3 variables, and if I click on it, I get a really nice view of it here, which is cool. You see these names here turn into the column headers, and then we get the individual vectors here, right? The values we put in the vectors turn into the data going in column order, because generally we assign things by column. So if I give it, here's your values for the column, it just fills up that column like we looked at, and I get my day of the week. So if I want to get one of those values out, we got lots of different ways we can start interacting with our data frames, which is really fun. So if you want to look at some of these values, and again, they go into, for building this deck of cards, you don't want to type it all out because that's really kind of tedious here at this point here. You could, and you could just copy paste here from the textbook, but there's other ways we can go about building these things out here. And then it actually does turn your strings into factors automatically, which is kind of fun. So if you don't want it to do that, you can say string as factors is false here when you pass it all these different values here. But it's okay like that. Not super concerned at the moment here. So if I want to get one of those values out, I'm going to say, hey, I want my menu, and then I'm going to give it the row and column index. So if I say I want 1, 1, I'm going to get row 1, column 1. So I should get Monday here when I say I want 1, 1. If I want the entire row, I'm going to say I want menu, and then in square braces, row 1, and then if I just leave the column blank, I'll get all of the columns. So I see day is Monday, sandwich is PB&J, kids eating sandwiches is 5. If I want to specify, I can say, hey, I want from 1, or no, I want another vector of 1, 3. Is that my notation here? There we go. So columns 1, 2, and 3 here. If I want, say another day of the week here, let's go, how about 7 here, should be Sunday, and then I want all the columns. So Sunday is leftovers, no kids are eating sandwiches because they just have other leftovers for lunch from dinner time. So I can go and get all of those individual values out. If I want an entire column, I'd say, hey, menu, I want all of the rows, so I just leave that one as a blank here, and I want column number 3. So that would give me the values here. So if I want to know how many sandwiches we're going to make, I should be able to sum up the menu at index of, well, I want all the rows, comma, and I want column 3 here. I get 21 sandwiches throughout the week here. Right? And if I multiply that by 2, I get 42 slices of bread. I have to find out how many loaves of bread all that fun stuff like we did before. So we can interact with our data frame using this notation. So this is index notation, and because R is special, thanks to our folks in Mathland who helped influence it here, indexes start at 1, not 0 if you've programmed before. Pretty much every other programming language starts at 0, because that's what good programmers do. But that's okay. We're just going to use 1, and we'll just kind of deal with it as we go. So I've got some values here that we're playing with. Now I want to go actually save this out into my file. So I'm going to go copy this here, because I forgot to do this earlier. I'm going to add my new R script into my project here. So let's see, that's a little long here. That's probably okay. I think we can bump that down some. Sandwich, other, leftovers. Kids, yeah, I don't think I need this to be quite as big here. Kids eating sandwiches, great. And then I can go through and grab some of these other ways that we're selecting some of these values here. Sorry, I should have been putting it in the file all along here. So this is, we can add a little note. This is row 1, column 1, right, with that notation. And then we can say, I want row 1 here. Let me just add in some notes here for you. So this is row 1, all columns. I don't know what blank means all columns. Here, hopefully that's helpful. I'm talking like you're here. Usually I've got people in front of me, so it's a little weird sometimes just recording videos with no one around. It gets a little lonely sometimes. This is row 1, columns 1 through 3. Right, with that notation, or I can say, hey, I want, this is row 7, all columns. Okay, I got that notation, and then if I want all the rows, column 3, all the rows, column 3, you get that, and I can again sum all those up here. So total sandwiches will be the sum of all that. So that way we can work with our data frame here. So I should be able to run all of our code here. Yep, let's see, because we've got it in our environment now. So, oh, very cool. So again, we'll get our data back out as we work on our values here, but this way we'll have this script here. So this is week 3. If you ever want to look back at this week 3 R file, I'll have it out in the course repository for you. All right, so playing with our data frames, lots of cool things we can do with it as we go working with this two-dimensional data, right? We got rows and columns, and then each of the columns has a specific type, and then a single row is a value across all of those columns. Right? So as we work with the card example, we get an individual card out. Work with a little menu example, we get our, hey, this is the sandwich for the day week, how many kids are going to eat it, that sort of thing. All right, see you folks in the next video.